I'm Austin Brown,
My name's Shane Dunaway.
and we're presenting a game we designed in a previous course that we had.
Intro to Game Studies.
Yeah, Intro to Game Studies. And our game is called Warden's Way. So to begin, Warden's Way is essentially a social deduction card game akin to like Werewolf, where over time, over the phases, certain roles get eliminated throughout the game until either the prisoners or the guards are the remaining people. So to start with, there's the prisoner roles. The prisoner roles are the people that have the contraband or the commissary with them. It's either indicated with green or red, and you'll see that later on in the presentation. And they have to swap items between other prisoners to their left or to their right during the night phase, because there's 3 phases: morning, evening, and nighttime. And here's an example of one of our special roles, because the prisoners have a normal prisoner role, and then they have special prisoner roles like the cook. And they have, for this one, is extra helpings, where they allow the swap with additional prisoners, but they can only use it during the evening phase.
Basically, all the role cards are just a way to maneuver the items from one person to another in game, kind of goes with the mechanics, aesthetics, and design of the game.
And there's actually 2 special prisoner roles that have their own win conditions. There's the trustee, where they win if all the other prisoners with contraband have not been discovered, but he can't have any contraband on him, so he won't be a part of the prisoner's win condition if he has contraband on him. So he'll lose the game. And the informant wins if all the other prisoners are detained, and he has contraband in his possession. If he's the one left standing and he has contraband, then the informant's the one that wins. And those 2, since they're a little bit convoluted compared to the normal roles, we'd recommend those for 8 players and above.
Whenever we were coming up with those kind of special roles too, we thought about games like Werewolf that had like the exploding wolf, or the wolves that were forced to work in tandem together, things like that. So we kind of tried to find ways that we could get the prisoners to work together, and the guards were seemingly supposed to work together, but some of the roles for the guards were written in a way to make them not as effective.
But yeah, speaking of the guards, their main goal is to confiscate contraband and to put the prisoners that have the contraband in solitary. And when a prisoner is put in solitary, that eliminates from the game. They can't participate anymore. And so the warden is the 3rd role we actually have in our game, and he or she or they serve as the game master. And what they do, how the warden can affect the game is they have warden event cards, and those warden event cards, they can either affect the prisoners and what they want to do, or they can affect the guards and what they want to do. And here's an example: suspended, where a guard has to be temporarily removed until the next evening, so they can't do anything.
And we put these in kind of as an optional stopgap way of keeping the game flowing. Like, if, say, the first couple of days have gone by and you haven't found any contraband at all, then a warden person who runs the game effectively as a game master might play an event card to see if it does something to help the guards, though there are some in the deck that would work in favor of the prisoner. So there's that element of chance that's
There's a balance to it. And speaking of the phases, there's 3 phases to Warden's Way. The beginning phase is the morning phase, in which the guards will choose to shake down, they'll have to shake down prisoners, and one prisoner must actually be excused for rec time at the yard, so they can't
play in 769 too, and that basically is how you do it.
And then, okay, so the phase 2 is the evening phase, and that's where the warden can play the event cards, and then the cook, which is one of the special prisoner roles, can use his ability. And he's the only prisoner that can use his ability during the evening phase. The rest of them are during the night phase. So the 3rd and final phase is the night phase, where prisoners must swap or steal non-investigated items from prisoners seated to their left or to their right. We had it originally where they may or may not do it, but it seemed to not really work for the game flow.
In the play test, some people were refusing to trade their cards, and that kind of went against the spirit of what was intended, so
Mhm.
we had to make an adjustment on the fly there.
And then, like I said, the other prisoner rules during the night phase, that's when they can use their abilities too. I think that I might have glossed over the commissary contraband cards. I might have accidentally eliminated them, but here's the
commissary
example of the.
ones,
We
and
actually have the physical. We were gonna get them cut out,
these were the
but there's a little bit of messaging error with the print shop, but that's on my end. But the plan is to get them cut out and kind of laminated to put in card sleeves, and that would be the plan to. And also, I guess in the day of age, it'd be nice to put a disclaimer that the pictures are made with generative AI, but whenever we choose, or whenever we're implementing the game to be actually played and tested in hobby shops, we're going to be planning on having original art designs for the game.
And then we also, from the first play test we did at the tabletop group, we had player surveys that were filled out, which was nice, and it gave us some immediate feedback. We actually got to do 2 games back to back and implement some of that feedback directly onto that second game and be able to see the results as they came through.
That's all we got. Any
questions for our speakers? Yeah.
This looks like a lot of fun. Are players assigned a role or did they choose a role?
The warden is the one that, since they serve as the game master, they'd be the ones dishing out the cards, whether there'd be a prisoner role or a guard role. And how it'd be placed is the prisoner roles, they'd be face down because they have their own special abilities, and they're only revealed when they use their special ability. Or like whenever, because there's some that have like retaliatory abilities. Whenever like a guard is trying to shake them down, they can use an ability to stop that, and then that's when they would reveal their card of what role they are.
And basically determining who's a prisoner, who's a guard, it's all kind of ratioed out. Ideally, it works best when you have 25 to 33% of the participants as a guard and the rest as players. And then I broke it down from 4 to 12 players, number of guards versus prisoners recommended, and number of days to give to investigate, because each player is going to have 5 cards denoting whether or not they have commissary or contraband. And as those things become investigated and flipped over and whatnot, there's less to choose from. So.
Any other questions? Oh, yeah.
Your survey questions, did you develop those yourself? Where did those come from?
We had Jeremiah. Our group originally started out as 4 people, and then ended up basically primarily the 2 of us for the most part. But Jeremiah did the test questions, and then I went back in and kind of like tweaked them and altered them, made sure they were kind of what we were going for language-wise. But we had 4 pre-game questions, 4 post-game questions, and then a rating system of 1 to 5 based on their experience. And it was on 4 different categories: concept, design, mechanics, ease of understanding, and enjoyment.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no more questions? The round of applause.